Hey, what's up? And thank you for tuning in. Today we got a special episode. Today we got a guest, and we didn't plan to talk for this much, but this turned out to be a 2 hour episode. So let's see how we gonna split it up. But for you, I will give you the full blow right now with 2 hours. Let's see if you can stick through with it. It's gonna be a special episode. We have Kevion Devantè, a musician, a crystal Reiki healer, a sound shaman, and so much more. We talked about a bunch of stuff. We talked about the spiritual journey. We talked about UAPs and UFOs and what it has to do with Adinkra codes and tattoos. Some tips for spiritual entrepreneurs on this journey that are new on this journey. Also, the nature, the effects of nature to us, and so much more. Stick with us, stay tuned. I'm Jesse Francisco, an award winning music artist and entrepreneur, and you're watching the High Level You show. So let's go. All right, Kevion Devantè, we got you in the house. How you doing? What's up?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm really, really good. I'm glad you're here. We talked
Yeah.
about this for a while, and now we made it possible.
hmm I'm happy to be here.
Nice. That's really nice. So you're doing a bunch of stuff. You're doing a bunch of stuff. You're Reiki master, crystal Reiki master. You're a musician as well. You're doing a lot of stuff. Tell us more about that. How did that start?
Oh, you asked the big question.
We're starting the right way.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, really, I would really still have to start it with family. I mean, my granddad had his um position in music. He was a gospel singer. He had band. He traveled the world. The last country he toured was Russia before he passed. And it's
Mm,
just how really for me how my life aligned. I kind of did a lot of self-reflection growing up to the point where it's like, who am I? Why am I? So to speak. So, things that you're interested in, things that you find yourself into, I had to find some kind of oneness with that. So that's why
mhm,
you now see like me be this kind of multidimensional person because never could let go of parts of myself. And I think that's what some people would tend to do when they tend to choose, where instead of just allowing yourself to be. So, in me understanding how it relates to one another is really how I got here from, the scientists, the biologists, from it started with the music because creation.
okay. Yeah. Shamanic
So,
practices as well. I
yeah,
forgot to
yeah,
mention even shamanic practices. Yeah, it's inspiring.
mhm,
I've been watching your content for a while, but we already connected. We already had our collaboration on my music video Energy. So
yeah.
also
Perfect
as a
title.
sorry?
Perfect title.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And everything with the music and your shamanic practice, we had to do it. We
Mhm.
just had to do it, I think, and
Right.
together.
I know it was that was in alignment. Like too, it's funny how we like you said we've had our time and we've met, but yeah, even on that premise where the shamanic work and understanding nature and energy and reality, really,
Yeah,
because everything is energy. You like that's
exactly.
why I said that was almost that was like the perfect start of any creative process, understanding the energy of it. And I like what you did there, and I was glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, man.
You're
And
welcome.
also, I love that you were perfect for what you were doing. I didn't have to say much, but
Yeah, right.
you were doing your thing, and it was perfect for
Right.
you. Yeah, really, really nice. And yeah,
Mhm.
the because we were talking about the music and me being a music artist and everything, and into the whole spirituality thing and exploring, and of course the self-discovery. Also, what you said, um, how did that? Let's just go deeper. How did that transition from discovering the creative side and the music side to actually practicing the shamanic work and the sound bath that you were doing.
That journey unfolded in college for me. In many ways, like I went to a couple colleges, but when I really got to I went to community college, graduated from there, then went to university. But I studied abroad, then I continued my education. So I had been in higher education for years of my life, and
Mm-hmm.
even coming out of, grade education like we all do, I just took knowing things serious since I had been here. So being in the band, um, and being a biology major, and really trying to figure out, okay, well, how is my life going to look after I graduate? Because I can't just keep going to band practice and keep going to class. Like, how am I going to make sense of this,
Mm-hmm.
for me? And
Mm-hmm.
really relating the two from the musical standpoint to the scientific standpoint in terms of vibration and frequency and cymatics. And then you think about the articulation, and that art is in the articulation of molecules and molecular structures. And I just seen so much that I just was like, how are people not seeing this? Because I didn't see a separation at that point. And
Uh-huh.
and then I
Okay.
understand like what the
Interesting.
university was, in the study of the universe, and the different departments were like subjects of reality, that were being objectified, but not necessarily cohered
Connect.
to and,
Yeah.
and connected. Yeah.
Totally. It's all it's all energy and it's all music is spiritual, right? Music
Yeah.
is the sounds of it all is I also believe that in ancient times that there was a lot more when we were a lot more advanced
Yeah.
with our spirituality and that side that these sound frequencies were really used with wisdom and knowledge and intention, how
Right.
to heal
And
the body,
technology.
how to move things,
Mhm.
and these things. And I think that it's really beautiful to see that people are really into and really using
Right.
this craft or this technology to for good. And you with the sound bath, I also had
Mhm.
an event that I did with a sound healer,
Mhm.
and he was using these sound bowls and these gongs, and I was coaching and teaching about some things, and it was a beautiful moment. I also brought in some music, how to uplift the people and make them move with some movements and stuff. It was just so good to see, and then yeah, I it's beautiful for me to see that people are really using these things.
Right.
How's your sound bath journey? Yeah, going.
Something like um good. I mean, it's interesting because I even when I started it, it always kind of I started with the whole why me, like everybody, you're moving into this purpose driven path in your life, and you're like, okay, God, okay, me, okay, because people would come to me from all different generations, places in the world, to just meditate. Like, well,
Hmm.
I had a spot out in Georgia, and I used to walk out there barefoot, have my bowls on my shoulders, like on my monk journey, and I used to carry the bowls into the forest and meet people outside of the forest, and there's the first
Okay.
time meeting me, and they
Okay.
followed me into the forest and they lay down and they closed their eyes. And I was like,
Okay.
okay, God, you see, because I'm like, wow, that's the divine level of trust. And so
Yeah.
I did my part in that, and I gained so many clients. I've never wanted to keep people on a leash when it came to healing. If you meet me on your journey and you need me, I'll be there. And if you need me again, I'm will be there. You made
Hmm.
the connection. That's I always remind people of that. So I still do private sessions. I still do some events. My events have slowed down tremendously since I've been in ag work. So since I've been really
Okay.
putting my hands in the soil,
I
I
s-
just have slowed down with the whole travel and jump out and event here and event there. And yeah, I'm still grateful to have my private clients. And I like the way the work is transformed because I've
mhm.
always reminded people this is just one step. The meditation is just one step. Like you have to get up and intentionally be. That means with you what so when you eat, you are what you eat. What are you digesting even visually? How are you allowing yourself to be? And
Yeah.
it was always deeper than the meditation. The meditation is a starting point, it's a reset, It's a reflection. That's it. And it never is going to do the. You can't sit down and do the work. That's just preparing for the work. So you
Yes,
getting
yeah.
up and being for that communal person that I am now and teaching people what I can about all the facets of life, the environment, the plants, the animals, the soil, the water. Yeah, it's totally shamanically fulfilling.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
thank you.
And the agriculture, I saw
Hmm.
some pictures and videos that when you were, yeah, really into the agriculture and doing your thing. Are you also teaching this or
Yep.
okay, okay. Can you tell us more about that?
So I teach.
I don't really have the green thumb, that unfortunately.
Yeah, see, now I'll start with the fact that when I studied abroad and went to Asia, I did some international scientific research and I did comparative analysis on different things in the region, different animals, and all of that information and research. It traveled back with me when I came back and got I appointed by the IHL commissioner for Mississippi at the time. He wanted me
Hmm.
to work for the USDA in this the region I am in, the northern region, with a plant pathologist from China. So
Okay.
I guess he felt like, okay, he went to Asia, he can work well with her, and we need to, like, we did some soybean disease plant pathology research, and
Okay.
so that really solidified my background in ag because I'm a biology major. I just studied life in general, but
Hmm.
I initially wanted to go on a path to veterinary medicine, and then I, was studying chiropractic, but that was still for the animals. It wasn't necessarily for the people,
Okay.
because I just felt better working with nature than I did with people at the time. But I still
Hmm.
found myself working with everything.
Hmm.
Um, and so I came back home to Mississippi, and then I end up getting sworn in by a organization called Food Corps out of Portland, Oregon, that I worked remotely for about 2 to 3 years, and then that pushed me into the school districts where now I have multiple partnerships. I teach three different school districts in this area. Um, yeah, and I teach a 2-year program called Diversified Agriculture. So
Okay. Wow.
it's a 4-part class. It's Principles of Agri-Science, um, Plants 1, Environmental Science 1, and then Ag Mechanization with small engine welding mechanics, and then Ag Business and Entrepreneurship.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah,
A
yeah,
bunch of things, huh?
the
Thanks.
philosophy for the class is, everything comes from the ground, like, from the ground up,
Yeah.
whether it's starting from a seed or a mineral, it's the earth that we are, and we're, experiencing, and that we, need to sustain our life, and just teaching that all the way around. So the diversification of it is, I'm not teaching commercial ag. I don't teach synthetic fertilizers, GMO. I teach them about them, but I don't direct that into
Mm.
the path. I do a more holistic, sustainable, you know, awareness, mindfulness class where we do meditation Mondays. We have discussions
Mm.
days. We're in the classroom 1 minute, we're outside in the greenhouse the next minute. It's a 2-hour class, and I teach 4 different grade levels too. So it's challenging, but I like what I do because the school system. I mean, everybody hear about how hard the teachers have it, and that is no joke. And
Yeah.
uh, it's been good to have as much influence though as I have had in this area, especially being able to revise 3 curriculums: horticulture, forestry, and now environmental science. They're going to be implemented in the next 4 years. I sat on the panel with the research curriculum department of the state, and we revised the curriculums, and I was able to help them implement things like herbology that was not in the curriculum. How are we not talking about rosemary and sage in a plants class? Like, okay, I was like,
Yeah.
nah. So I'm so grateful to be. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah,
If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it the right way, right?
exactly.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Yeah, that's really good. I think it's also important to bring the I think you are the perfect teacher for this. You're bringing the mindfulness, the the whole awareness for it, not only teaching about plants and this and this and this and growing things, but you bring the whole thing with it, what it actually needs, the
Right.
whole awareness for it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
cool.
I mean, in the I now thank you for acknowledging that because even in their vocabulary, you have words like citizenship, respect, fairness. So I'm like, okay, and me getting them to understand this is you're in the living world. I need you to treat everything with respect, even if it is an inanimate object and it has no actual what you consider life flowing through it. It came from life. You know, it came from a
Hmm.
tree. It came from the earth. So that respect in the work and the mindfulness goes a long way because we know what we deal with in terms of some of the abuse in some of the food systems and how some of the things have been treated where we really got to gain that spiritual um mind and perspective.
Hmm. Hmm. How did that start? Did you have that's actually my next question.
Mm.
How did you have you had this spiritual awakening, or how did this awareness for this reality, the spiritual reality start for you?
I would say it always was like it was kind of always really there in understanding like never like you know how they say when you lose your innocence as a child. I
Mm,
kind of like I'm an adult, but for me, I'm seeing just me. Like I'm like okay, and even some of the levels of responsibility that I have been granted in my adult life, I look back and like wow, look at me because I'm still connected to that kid that talked to
yeah.
trees, that had the imagination, that looked up at the clouds, that created the sword out of the stick and the staff, like still there. So I think with the bigger awakening in me, honestly, connecting that point was somewhere after graduating high school. I was hanging out with my cousin from Wisconsin. He started producing music from studying radiology. I was like, okay, cuz,
Okay.
so, like studying
Uh-huh.
the wave patterns and syncing them up. Like,
Yeah.
had no knowledge of music, but I'm like, oh, you waking that in your blood, I see. So we would have these deep conversations, sit with each other. We would go off, I pick him up and we would just ride out, and we all these country roads and dirt roads in Mississippi. We were sitting out one night, one like evening. It started to turn to night, and I looked at the horizon. And I always tell people this story, and it's so strange. I looked at the horizon, and I like the sun was going down, and you can see that sliver of light. Like it's flat here, so it's just flat plain,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see that sliver of light and then you up from above it went from like blue like all the hues of the colors in a way but then like up to blue to like white like the sky was kind of like
Okay.
grayish then from here on below the light it was black all the way to like the brown of the ground of where I
Uh-huh.
was because I was standing in the field at the time and it just was like I'm like oh I'm seeing all that is like I'm this like those are all the colors. That's everything that I can experience. If I had to imagine and create a reality on this blank canvas, I can do it with every frequency that I'm experiencing right here. I like it's
Mm-hmm.
like a page just hit my face. And me understanding that I'm a melanated brown being and of the earth and then how that connect and I was like, whoa, and I started talking to my cousin, and I'm like, hey, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I just started spewing so much connection from trigonometry to geometry. And it was weird because it's like I had took these classes, of course. I took some college courses in high school, like, they have those, prereq where you can jump in and get a credit, this and that. Or and I even then I was always reading the preface of the chapter. The teacher
Uh-huh.
would give us an assignment, and I'm like, okay, what is this chapter about? Though, let me read the beginning. Let me read the story of
Mm-hmm.
this, and that really just hit me in that moment too. And I started telling him so much stuff. He was like, well, cuz you know what this means. You can't go back to how you were living. Like seems
Yeah.
like your eyes are open to, you seeing this. And I knew then. I was like, yeah. And that was somewhere around 2012, 13. And then that's when I started to understand the elements deeper as it even relates to sound being an element and the earth as it related to crystals and their frequencies, and what earth material really was like. What is water to the earth really? What is
Hmm.
oil to the earth really? And it started to I started to see that biological um
Sorry.
symbiosis, where it's
Ah,
like
okay.
everything that I'm made of, this thing is made of too, and I'm living on it. So that
Yeah.
means, oh my God, the rivers are the blood, and like, and it
Okay.
everything that
Yeah.
my ancestors had said just was like, oh yeah, of course.
Makes sense,
And
huh?
it made so much sense even in the scientific mind, because the Western mind says your work needs to be peer reviewed and questioned and judged by your peers and validated. I never sought that validation. Even in chiropractic, I was doing techniques in the learning, and I had doctors come to me and say, "Hey, don't you touch anybody yet. You got something going on." And at that moment, I was like, "Okay, yeah, I said, okay, and it really was just a going back into self journey and knowing self enough to do what's needed and not having to go through the hoops and chains and everything
Mhm.
between to get to, like, because even then, once you're licensed and you're under someone else's jurisdiction and bylaws, you can only practice the way they want you to practice. And
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was awakened to that a little time before COVID, before I just decided to walk away from the chiropractic program. I was like, okay, literally, yeah. If I do go through with this, I'm just one of them. But I know that I'm me, and like it's we this one of
Yeah.
one experience. So I was like, okay. It was bittersweet, but then it's too trusting the process. I seen how many people were coming to me for spirit again, like I said, from 65 in anywhere in between and everything. And I wasn't even 30 yet. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm listening.
How old are you now? How old are you
Okay.
now, by the way?
Uh,
How old are you now, by the way?
well, in 8 days I'll be 33.
Okay, 8 days. All right, all right, all right. 33.
Yeah.
That's interesting number as well.
Yeah, very, very. So I'm like,
Uh-huh.
look at you wrapping up the that this tier of my life from this to the up until this point, because I know 33 is one of those holy numbers. So I was like, okay, yeah.
I am now 34, and
Yeah.
my 33 when I became 33, um I can't lie because that year actually had tremendous impact. I'm I just not recently, but before that I passed some dark times,
Mhm.
and after all that was over, I gained so much new insight and so much new, um, yeah, insight and wisdom, you can say, and so much more understanding over things that I really, when looking back, I have to say, man, turning 33, that was the year when a lot changed. A lot changed. Oh, I had, of course, the whole spiritual awakening and the whole journey. It's like for me also 10 plus years, but now this last year was so different and so much more accelerating with the whole spiritual journey and the whole uh personal and spiritual growth. But yeah, I don't want to interrupt your story.
No, no, I think that that's interesting that you say that, because I'm like, yep, and it proves what I'm saying, because I'm even thinking about the work that we did in that journey. So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole number itself with the
Hmm.
I don't know if the audience is aware of it, but there's a lot of secret orders and a lot of technologies that is built on the 33.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's really interesting hearing your story, how that all happened. And I think uh, also what you said before, the divine energy, or it was a divine experience when the people came to you in the forest, and now the people recognizing or sensing your energy and your spirit, and they just come to you. I think it's really like that, like, and like energy attracts like energy, right? And when you
Right.
once we acknowledge that in ourselves and vibe from that frequency, this is how it really can happen with the people, the right people coming to us, right?
And then doesn't that go back to music? Isn't that funny?
Yes, yes. Like everything comes
Yeah,
back to music. And when I say to people, the music is spiritual, what are you saying? Music is spiritual. And even the of course the words we say it's has power and it's vibrations and when we sing these lyrics and sing these words, it is like amplified and it
yeah.
has this it's totally vibrating on a different
Mhm.
frequency, literally more yeah, but
I know exactly what you're saying. Look, like I want to say something about it too, because
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
go ahead.
now, when you talk, it's still frequency, still vibration, still tonality, still the song. But when you sing, you up that and you literally push it into the meta. Like it's like for now you're appraising and
Exactly.
magnetizing that, you know, because it's in an octave beyond just the speech. And even
Exactly.
speech itself is harmony. So because you know, whether you're in any conversation, you know, if you're arguing, then there's disharmony, and if you're in agreement and
Yeah,
coherence, then there's harmony. So
we sense it,
I,
right? It's
yeah,
normal. People are
yeah.
so automatically reacting and doing this, but we can sense these energies just by the tone of it and by the sound of it and how much power is behind it and everything. And actually and um basically also with the whole sharing this music when no, how can we say it? When we when other people listening I can't speak anymore.
Mhm.
When other people listening to to these particular songs that have positive message behind it, like for example, like a lot of reggae music or this certain harmonious frequency music, it has an impact. It has a different impact than when we are listening to gangster rap or like really much more aggressive music or maybe
Right.
maybe that's not the right example. For
Now
example,
that was a perfect example because you said the key
808s,
word
right?
was aggression. Key word was aggression because when we listen to
Mm-hmm.
reggae, it's very relaxed. Everything's
Mm-hmm.
cool. Just, you know, be cool. But when you're listening to an example of gangster rap, it's aggressive. Even if it's just, you know, not saying what you have done, but saying what you will do or who you are. It's a dominant energy. And
Yes,
that's
yes,
part of
yes.
aggression.
And when we listen to sounds, it stimulates the brain and it affects our energy, our energetic, yeah, our magnetic field, right? And people don't really realize how much music impacts and influence us. And
Right.
also, that's what Michael Jackson says. We should be cautious and conscious what we sing about
Right.
when our message is oh fuck this nigga, fuck this bitch, and fuck
Mhm.
that, this and this and this, and I'm gonna kill you, da 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 da, or whatever. And
Mhm,
and the
mhm.
kids are singing this,
Right.
and they are using this almost like a mantra. This affects our life as well. Like
And,
we shouldn't just but the music industry is a whole topic for itself actually because they
yeah,
push
but
this thing
and I
on
was gonna
purpose.
say, even not to cut you off, but before I forget,
No
it's the
worries.
fact that you have to responsibly listen. Cause I mean, like
Yeah.
since I have like I went on an extreme journey of cutting out all like I didn't even have a music playlist for a couple years. I just listened to instrumentals when I could. I would look for other music in other parts. But I think that's even how we kind of connected because I'm thinking about just that stream of like I just swimmed over across the ocean in a way where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just go over here in these waters away from what everybody else is consumed with. Because I'm
Mm,
seeing that this music that's consuming y'all and the way y'all live, I dream of a better reality in a way. I can sense, I can manifest and create a better reality beyond the dream. And it was that step away from music altogether and really just slowly easing my way back into it and respecting it. Now I'm back at my human level of, in human experience, I would say, because I kind of was deeply just spiritualized with it. Like, no, I will not, I cannot. Now, because spirit is all things and will encompass and experience every emotion and not
Mhm.
negating anybody else's experience, spiritual experience, when I do have that relationship with that music now, it's per my experience. If I am in some type of rage or anger or, trying to express myself or I resonate with this portion of the lyrics, I won't be consumed by the whole song. I literally go, yeah, that part in that song, yeah, and then I'll use
Mhm.
that for some art or, I
Mm.
if I experience the song in passing and somebody's playing it, I'll acknowledge the part of the song I like. I'll acknowledge the beat or the chorus if it's affirmative for me. But if it literally does not align with my personal values, it has nothing for me. And no matter how much I liked that song when I was ignorant, it's just like
Yeah.
not I can't. I just like literally it almost feels goofy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what
Yeah.
you mean. We've come this far, and our whole experience is different now. Now we see things from a different perspective. Yeah, yeah, I know
Mhm.
what you mean. Yeah, and it's just an interesting thing how when we look back, not only us how we were, how you said it, ignorant or
Mhm.
ignorant way of listening to these things, and but when we look at the kids listening to certain music and we try to show them, hey, don't you want to, don't you know what this is doing to you? Don't you want to?
Mhm.
But we can't influence them. They couldn't
Yeah.
influence us back then. They have to see it for themselves, I guess.
Yep. And that's the piece I make with it in my classroom because I'm a different teacher, educator, supervisor, everything in between. Because I teach career and technical education. It's a class geared towards work based learning. They do have to log in hours and they do have to, act as employees,
Hmm.
and so in times where we're in the classroom and they have headphones and things and they are locked into their assignment, I'll pass by and see some of the things they're listening to or hear it, and I do question it, and
Hmm.
then I'll address the concern and the value of it and the taste of it,
Yeah.
in terms of what their experience. I'll let them know, but then I don't interfere with the process because it's like you'll eventually know that you were playing the fool for yourself
Yeah.
because, I can't just, it's not my life to live, literally. And so I like make that peace with it, knowing that I know better and knowing that they have me in their lives is the best thing that I could do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a nice answer. That's a good answer. So I have other questions. What else do I have here? I was we were really into it right now, right? with the with
All
the
right.
whole thing. Um, I wanted to talk more about the spiritual awakening and the whole thing of it all.
Mhm.
What you you experienced in your how can I say, with you experiencing your spiritual awakening, your spiritual journey the way you did,
Mhm.
how and what can you advise to others that just began this whole journey?
Spend time out in nature. Like, stop
Mhm.
being scared of bugs. Go out and sweat. Like, don't like you don't have to check your phone for a notification. You can disappear, in the forest for a few hours. And and if anything, I say disappear, and people have been disappearing. So let me be frank with that. Take a partner, you know, travel in the groups if you can, or if you can't, just make sure you're safe. But main thing is just spend time in nature. You don't even
Mhm.
have to go too far. I'm not saying, oh, I have to go on a 5 mile journey in nature. Like, yeah, it is nice to get away from the power lines and the Wi-Fi and everything that you're trying to, negate that is true, but there are still places amongst us in our general environment that will suit that. If it's like a nature trail that when I was in Georgia, that's what I used
Okay.
to continue the work that I had was aware of being from Mississippi and understanding the natural world and walking outside with my shoes off. Um, yeah, it's just connecting and understanding that you're just as an organism as the bird. You just think that you're different.
I will let it flow right now.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. Um, yeah, I relate to that because people need also because you said this keyword there to travel. People need to travel. They need to broaden expand their horizon
Yeah,
and also travel in groups, but also travel alone to get to know themselves
yeah,
or for self-discovery. For me, I learned so much when I was traveling. When I was traveling, I was also in Jamaica and
mhm,
in the bushes and with yeah with nature and everything, and
yeah,
it was an incredible experience. And that doing this alone and you don't need to have everything. But when I talk about this, oh, you travel alone and so far away, I could never do this. Why not? Of course you can. Of course you can. There's no, it's not that big of a deal to people are so afraid of things and they're running their program and things, but we are part of nature and you can do this and you can be alone, you should be alone to get to know yourself. How else can we get to know ourselves?
right.
Yeah, I think it's really important what you said, yeah, with nature and traveling and whether you are in a group or alone or
Right. And say for instance, you can't find like a lot of people, and I get it. Like realistically, if it's a financial constraint on traveling for a lot of people in the world, traveling isn't just about because when people hear that and they don't know any better, they go, "Oh yeah, well I don't have any money to go to take a trip to Vegas or Jamaica or California like I want to or Paris." But it's like that's the most superficial version of traveling ever. Like I'm talking about going somewhere because you like that you want to explore, going somewhere because you're interested, or not even if you don't even go anywhere. That just back to my point traveling of the mind. If you
yeah.
sit outside long enough, you may see the tree different. You may see the
Mhm.
grass. You may understand. Oh, that's that same bird from yesterday. You know that that's the part where it's like really get outside of your path is part of the traveling. Like
Mhm.
discovering new paths. That's the
Yeah,
travel.
yes, nicely said. And the destination is not what it's about, right? It's about the journey, actually.
Right.
It's not always about a destination.
Right.
And yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's beautifully said. We should definitely need to be more conscious about that whole thing. And also even me moving, I was born in Germany and moving to Portugal, I wanted to be
Mhm.
more to the sun, the beach and everything
Yeah.
and the whole vibe. And it's so different here. And it's my whole essence, my soul, my how can I don't know how to explain it, but I feel much more
Mhm.
liberated because there is more life here, more
Yeah.
quality of life here. It's more sun, more, like I said, you're when you're at the beach and you walk at the beach and you're more in nature, and people here are also more with nature than where I grew up in Germany. It's so different here, and sometimes we just need to make a move, go somewhere else to change your whole perspective and change to deepen it all, right? And
Yeah.
I think for me it was, but that's even I can go on and on about that because. it had a huge impact on me. And I knew that it's gonna be like that. I didn't really. I should have made it way sooner. I thought about it to move out
Mhm.
from the country, but I never did until I did it, and then I thought, man, why didn't I make it sooner? And yeah, but now I'm really, really loving it, and the opportunity to be at the beach, to walk, just it's not far away actually, and I you gotta love it.
Yeah, that's good.
And
It sounds good because I'm thinking because the journey continues. So this
it,
isn't a destination either for me, and I definitely
yes,
am thinking what's next.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
that sounds good. I want something ideal enough to be able to experience all the elements all the time. Like I
hmm,
had I had a version of that in Georgia, but I'm still moving through that journey and trying to figure out, okay, well, I wanted that, but I also want a yard to grow things, and Mississippi is
hmm,
the land and the fertility. So um my main mission here while I'm back is just to resource a location and then continue on.
yeah. Mississippi, right?
Yep,
Where, okay. That's where you are from and where you are right
yep,
now. Okay.
yep, both.
Has a lot of cultural indigenous how what's the word?
Indigenous.
I can't speak. Yeah, the has a lot of history, right?
Yeah, extremely. I mean, even we just had that premiere of a movie called Sinners by Ryan Coogler from he's from California, but he ended up realizing a lot of his family history in these areas and things, and really like highlighted a lot of that from. I mean, Mississippi is called America's birthplace of music. So, and,
Mm-hmm.
think about the blues and the jazz and everything that
Mm.
came out of here from BB King and everybody else. And like my hometown is where BB King's from. He's buried, like
Wow,
literally, he's buried 50, like maybe, I won't say 50 feet, maybe 300 to 500 feet from my house.
that's crazy.
Yes.
That's huge. That
Yes,
what a
and that's what I'm
legend.
like, and thinking about that because I'm like, a lot of people here don't even know how huge that is, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, really understanding who you are again, and where you're from, and why you are, it matters way more than people think. And if they just looked at themselves long enough in the mirror and respected their reality instead of condemning it and damning it all the time, they'll see it.
And Ryan Coogler was there to present
Yep,
Sinners. I saw.
he came down to present, and I was like, wow,
Okay, that's crazy. When I saw this, like what?
right,
The whole world is talking about it. We over here in Europe are going crazy for this movie, and then I see you you're just in the same room, big room,
right.
but in the same room and getting presented with the that's really really cool, really really cool.
Yeah, it was amazing, and he answered a lot of questions about why he chose Mississippi, and I mean, it related all to back to the spirit and just that ancient history, and like this being like the cultivation zone for the America that we even see today with the civil rights and everything. So, and like telling the story of the Chinese Americans from the 1800s, it was so
Okay,
much, and that it was just such a layered movie, even as it relates to the symbolism with the vampires. But I let people
yeah.
try to figure that out on their own. I don't try to explain that too much.
Why don't you get your vampire grills? Where are they?
Oh yeah, they're in there. Yeah, like I took them out because I'm like, look, we see eye to eye.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
you see, I don't even have. I got my beard tucked in too,
Ah, yeah, yeah, right.
and I pull my hair down for you. So a lot of people don't think it's real. It's up there. It's mine for real.
Yeah,
I have so many people say I wear a wig or something because I've had my hair for like 18 years alone. So that's
18
also
years?
been yeah.
You're growing it like this for 18 years?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just been through
Wow.
stages. Like I used to have half of it dyed, and then all that dye shedded out, and it's still
Mm.
like way slint down. And I used to have a full head, and I cut my sides.
Ah, yeah,
But
okay.
like the spiritual journey with my hair,
For me too.
my hair was illegal when I had it. When I
What?
started my hair, yes, I'm telling you the Mississippi story. It was illegal. I was about to get expelled from school. In ninth grade, I came to school, my hair was locked, and my dad had locks at the time, and we had moved from Texas. And They was like, "Where you going with that shit in your head?" You know, and I'm like, it's a black school. It's crazy, and I'm like, wow. And I was just like, I'm going to class. Like, you can't go to class with that shit in your head. You come out. Went to the office, had to meet with the school board. My parents had to have this whole meeting. In the handbook, locks and braids were not permitted. You only could either have a afro or a standard cut. You couldn't, earrings, all that. And
Oh,
like even
wow.
now, I got my gauges as a educator. And crazy enough, the guy that was about to expel me from school is the same guy that hired me in this school district to work in ag before he passed. And it's spiritually crazy because even then, he passed on my birthday a day before his birthday. And I'm like,
Mm.
God, like, because
Mm.
because it's all spirit. And I'm like,
Mm.
if I really was dumb and naive to this physical stuff, I'll just take it as a physical coincidence. But I'm like, this stuff be sold up, and this was already ordained back then. Because how did I meet him in his hometown, and he give me that job before he passed? And I didn't never sign up to be a teacher. He did all my paperwork. He was like,
Mm.
I'm gonna like, he got all of my licenses. I didn't do nothing but just show up.
Okay.
So crazy. That was like spiritually, like talking about just the locks. But yeah, I took the grill. Like you asked about the grill. I wear the grill because there's symbolism with the fangs and the life force, like in speaking life into others and understanding what the grill really means. Like in African culture, with being a symbol of royalty and wealth and authority and leadership. Where if you have something to say, why not adorn your mouth? Because your mouth is the giving you the ability to speak these things. So as a
Okay.
educator, I thought it was a funny to really implement that, especially in teaching my community, where I'm like, they see this in this light, but let me show them in this light. Let me show you what it's really for. Instead of speaking damnation and death and guns, I'm gonna show you what it's really for.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was my whole pun in that. And like even with my French fork, like I got it folded up now, but I wear that because of duality and understanding that it's
Okay.
a yin and yang. So I
Nice.
only explain it to everybody, but now now some of the world get it, and you.
Okay. There's symbolism everywhere, and
It's
you're
everywhere,
being
everywhere. I
you're
don't do
incorporating.
anything. I don't do anything without purpose. Like even
Yeah.
when I told you I was gonna wear a hat, I was like, which hat am I gonna wear? I was like, oh, he's a musician, and I'm a musician, and we're gonna which this is televised, and look at that.
Yeah. MTV.
So
Good
MTV, and I
one.
was like, that just speaking on that, like, in the art of it all. So yeah,
Yes.
super
Nice.
intentional always.
Ooh. That's the thing. There's meaning to everything, right? Everything has its meaning, and everything has, yeah. For example, when I got tatted, I have some tattoos here,
Mhm.
here. Nothing has no meaning, I don't. I'm
Right.
just gonna not just gonna give myself a tattoo and not have a meaning behind it. Some people are doing this, and I also have a friend who, for him, it's just visually, no meaning behind it. Okay. For him, I can't. And I also
Yeah.
can't relate to it because the everything that exists has its meaning.
Right.
So even in art, there's so many different perspectives to look at it, and so many interpretation. And when I have my own meaning behind it, but every time when I show this to people, I ask them what do they see, and then sometimes it's interesting what they think they see. And
Right.
yeah, it's all art, and it has all meanings, and it comes from different perspectives, but at the end, like you say, it's duality.
Yeah. I mean, even down to the blue with the throat chakra, the black curtains, and being in the universal void of things. I would even say, look at this. This tattoo right here is a hand.
Hmm.
And most people will see it like what you said, they'll project on, and they're like, okay, um, You know, like a lot of people are like, that's demonic. That's that a demon touch you or something like that,
Uh,
and it's crazy. Cause I'm like, we demonize our ancestors, right? I got this when my grandfather passed. It says my
oh,
music, my identity,
oh, okay,
and it's music
nice.
notes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just saw
and
it.
it's a right hand, and that's on my right hand. I play trumpet with my right hand, and that was my first instrument. And
Come on
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. All
All
right.
there, everything. Even like I'm in the Lions. I'm on the cusp of Leo. Then I got the Lion. Then I got the Unk with it's just
Ah,
I got
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Adinkra codes back on my back that
You got
Billy
the
Carson
Adinkra
talked
there?
about.
Oh, nice. I also have the Capricorn looking outside of or coming from not coming from obviously coming from but looking outside of Africa basically inside Africa but looking kind of outside of Africa. It's like an African continent and the Capricorn is also placed on there and then um and there's some African, images of Sahara and trees and animals and stuff. And the funny thing is, my dad is from Angola. I have Angolan blood, and there's a symbol. There's palancas, palanca negra. It's like it's like almost like a black Capricorn. It looks like a Capricorn, but it is kind of I don't know how the animals call it in English, but it comes from the same family, but it's not the Capricorn. And I didn't know about it. And then when I got this tattoo just freshly, and I went to Africa to Angola, and people were looking, oh, okay, that's cool from Africa. You know your roots with the Palanca Negra and da, da, da. I said, what? What are you talking about? And then they had to explain this to me.
Mm,
And I saw it also on the airport and things and the symbol and that's cool because I didn't know, but the meaning for me was where I'm coming from, my roots,
yeah.
and that what I am, where I am, where I come
That's how I
from.
did the Adinkras. I got 12 Adinkra codes on my back, and that happened before I even knew my ancestry. Like my mom ended up doing her ancestry and connecting things to Ghana and things, and like I'm
Mm,
connecting my dad's family to the more Native American things, and it's like whoa, I'm actually a real African American. It's kind of crazy, but um yeah, I got those, and then I once even Billy when he started talking about them being like light codes and to the universe and understanding like the algorithms of them,
yeah,
and I'm like whoa, like I didn't know, and now like you're saying, and it's crazy how you'll do something before you knew you really
yeah,
consciously know, but it shows that you tapped into your subconscious at a deeper
yes,
level.
yes, I believe that too. And the Adinkra codes is super interesting, also super interesting. And people just only see symbols. They don't see anything behind it. I
Right.
mean, the average person, people like
Yeah, I was
us,
like,
of
oh, that's
course, we know what
cool.
it is. Say it again?
Oh, that's cool. A nice location.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's it's funny. It's funny. But maybe for the
Yeah.
audience, just to clarify, what can you tell us about the Adinkra codes? About even you're already
Yeah,
told us
so from
about
what I understand,
why
what
you got it.
started to understand, because from what I knew getting them was they did have symbolism and references to like strength, adaptability, harmony, supremacy of God and the universe, and power of love. And those are a couple of the ones that I have on my spine. I put it on my spine. That's another thing. Before I even was studying chiropractic, I knew how important the spine was to the Kundalini and yoga and everything. And I'm
Mm.
like, whoa, God, thank you. Because I got this tattoo in a dorm room. Like I didn't go to the shop. It was like, hey, you set up, okay. And it took about 3 hours. It hurt like hell. But
Mhm.
then understanding for me too, that pain was part of my um contribution to understanding who my ancestors were and how they felt from the different things that we
Mm.
had to experience in this country and everything else. So I'm like, okay, I can take this pain, because I've seen worse. So
Yes. Mm.
even then, understanding now that they hold these different algorithms to the universe, I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
like. we seeing what algorithms doing to social media. So you telling me I've been what I don't even know, algoritmatized? Because I'm like, I put these on me, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I really kind of and it's helping me grow to such a deeper understanding of self that I didn't even realize that I was doing, and now I'm doing it. So
Mhm.
with them, I'm from my understanding, they are like sacred geometry. They're coded, and the sacred geometric patterns that allow, like, because a lot of the shapes have like the symmetry, the bilateral symmetry, like the human body. And I was like, oh, and then now, and so it depending on the angles that these different symbols were arrayed in, it's bringing in those angles of light, and it goes back to light and vibration and frequency, because everything, the reality that we live is constructed of light, whether it's solid or immaterial. Um, and I'm like, okay, dang, I'm still on the journey of discovering, because it's like now I feel like I've been charged to each 12, different symbols, because it's hundreds of symbols, but I chose 12, and I'm like, okay, these 12, and then you get to think about the 12 zodiac, 12 months, and I'm like, hold up,
Mhm.
then that I'm like, okay, yeah, I did something here, so it's still unlocking for me, because I think that, it's an understanding of my codes to the universe, where it's like how, computers coded. I'm coded now, and now I have to understand how, in a way, I relate to these codes through my ancestors and my own personal journey, and aligning with those intentions. Thank you.
Gotta give it to you. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Mm.
So we're living in a coded reality. Yeah, it's just what it is. And if people are calling it the theoretical, what are they calling it, simulation theory and whatever,
Matrix and
matrix
all, and they don't
simulation
even see
theory.
that. That's the thing about a matrix. It's funny that I'm glad everybody knows that word now, and they're like, "Oh yeah," but it's just like a matrix. This is a matrix of fabric. This is a matrix of hair. Like the matrices are actually the arrangement of the molecular structures. They're called matrices. So I'm
Hmm.
like, you can't escape it for real. You only can understand what it is while you're in it, because you're only in it when you're in it. Like to truly escape the matrix is to die. And it's like, and nobody, not, like, we need to not chase that part. We need to just understand what it is and create a better matrix, because
Hmm.
it's just what we live in.
It's the essence of it all. It's
Yeah,
the core of it all. And
yeah.
how did they call it in the Bible they said when it first came known, this word was like the coming through the matrix, through the womb, coming
Through the void in the
through
womb, yeah.
through
hmm
life, through the matrix. And that this whole reality is the matrix, because I think what they were saying is that us as a soul is can only incarnate in this 3D reality through this, inside this code. It can only come
hmm
into this reality, um in this coded reality through the matrix, and inside the matrix we are in.
Yeah, and even with the like, you're touching on it, because in if we were referencing the movie, the machine is something that we're allowing to take, and we're used as a resource. But why would we be used as a resource if we created the machine?
Yeah.
So we really got to turn the tables, and that's a lot of what we're seeing with AI. It's just
Hmm.
it's just a lot of corruption, because people misuse and abuse systems that they don't understand. Even like a car, people misuse them all the time because they don't understand how they work. It's the same thing, and yeah, I just think that when we understand again how to create a better system, we won't be the system won't be so parasitic to our spiritual energies, because I think the movie was showing us, hey, look at how everybody, like, and one scene in the movie always sticks out to me, and I can see it like in my mind, is when that moment when they did stop in like New York or outside on the sidewalk, people were just walking by, and everybody was just in their unconscious motions of daily rhythms. And I'm like, yeah, see, them not even understanding how redundant that they are is the problem. Like it's siphoning their energy. They could do more. They could live more. They can
Mm,
be more. But we
mm,
don't know that we can. And I think the movie was there to show us, look, just stand up and get out of that. Like you don't have to choose to be in that. You can choose a different path.
yeah.
And waking up from the machine, taking the full responsibility for your life, because everybody that was in the machine was well incubated and taken care of. That was another, symbolism in the movie where I'm like, they didn't want to necessarily be waking up. It was comfortable in their whole chamber, and
Right.
yeah,
Ignorance is bliss for many
yeah.
people. But
Mhm.
yeah, I had a thought right now. Now I lost it.
Oh, my bad.
No, no, good. What they tried to show us, yeah, that's the one. I think that what they tried to show us is that we all could be the one. It's not only Neo. It's if
We
we
all are
decide,
the one. We are
yes,
all
if
one.
we are
We say
all
it
one
all the
anyway,
time.
right? All is
And one is
mind.
beyond just the collective. One is in the individual. That's why I love teaching the subject right now that I'm teaching. Like when they hit it with divert, like because when I first got in, it was agriculture, engineering, science, and technology program. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But when you really hit diversified agriculture and everything is about culture, I was like, oh yeah, I'm finna have so much fun with this because now I can actually respect the individual for who they are and what they're interested in. I no longer have to feel like I need to give them this information. They have to pass this test, and everybody need to know this information, or else
Mm,
I tell them from the jump, this ain't about a grade. This is about what you can do, and
yeah,
how you can be better, and and grow.
that's dope. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, the matrix, the codes. We were talking about the
Yep.
codes. I heard that there was this guy. I'm not from. I don't remember the full name. Something. He was a physicist. Something with green. He was working for Obama also as a physicist, and then he studied the Adinkra codes, and he realized that these codes are what how
Mhm.
reality is encoded with these codes, and that even the what's the tribe called, the
Doggone.
the Dogon tribe, exactly. Yeah, yeah, the Dogon tribe that he was studying from them, and that they even using these codes in animation movies in Pixar. That Pixar was using these codes to make
Right.
movies even
To
before.
actually create reality. Yeah.
Yeah, and creating reality. How is that possible? Even in the Google search engines are using these codes, these type
Hmm.
of codes. People are saying, ah, that's just coincidence. Ah, that's just that. But there's no meaning to everything. Man, if you start to open your eyes, you cannot close your eyes anymore. Or if you
Right.
start to open your third eye, there's no way to closing it anymore. And then you just understand these things. It's not about coincidence. It's not about this or that or luck or whatever. There is a different way of understanding these things, right? Yeah,
Right.
it's so dope.
Hmm. Yeah. It's just we see the world in duality, and and that's the illusion. Like you have to, if you understand duality, you won't feel so torn between,
Mm,
because a lot of
mm,
people are generally under the impression that you have to choose a side. Like
mm,
I made a funny in my story post on Instagram where I posted a picture of me sitting by on the bed or whatever, and I said two side. Because if you look at my face, you it's like if you cover one eye, you see one thing. You cover the other eye, you see. And I was just like, okay, huh? Like two sided, and understanding this bilateral parallel that we're on, where it's like you have to make peace with the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of the brain, and see it as a whole brain instead of constantly being torn between the left hand or the right hand, or what should I do and this and that. Like literally, this is like the best thing because I'm just like it just shows you, like, bring it together, like, and
Man.
it's funny.
I didn't even know that. Okay, now
Yeah.
you're opening up another whole thing for me.
Hmm.
Damn, yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why that feel that's that, like, and the what's in between that is truly you. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
you come into that space, that essence, that
Yeah.
energy between the positive and negative, the yin and the yang, the parallels, because it's always going to be a parallel.
Mm-hmm.
But that parallel
Oh.
can be, like, just seen as the unification of self, beyond just trying to choose which one is the right line. That's what
Yeah,
people
because it's
arguing every day on which one is the right line. Every argument on the planet is about which one is the right line.
good, bad, this, that, yeah.
Sexuality, everything.
Sexual. I was about to also address that because with self-discovery and the whole thing, for me also, I went to a sexual orientation, kind of confusion,
Mhm.
what do I even like? And at the end of the day, I found myself more being, when we talk about these labels, being on the bisexual spectrum.
And
And
I think that all of life is on that bisexual spectrum, because whether you're talking about what, like, because you think about
mm,
sports alone, like, and you think about cars, shoes, and different things in particular that we associate with masculine or feminine qualities
feminine.
that we gravitate towards, like, and it took two to make you, like, it took
Yes.
so that
Yes.
you are that, you're both, like, and it's like, yeah, people choose to do one more than the other, or they may have a preference of one more than the other, or they may genuinely like to just explore their options and do both. It's literally everybody. And I hate that even that has been divided, because that's the division right there. Like, you are a
Mm.
bilateral, symmetrical being. And so how could you get away from the bi? Like, again, because it took woman and man, and we got nipples and ass. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, come on.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it is. And that at the end of the day, it's just two sides of the same coin.
yeah,
It's just yin and yang, good and evil.
yeah.
It's just one at the end.
And
And
good and evil and bad and good and evil, or good and bad, are subjective experiences. Like,
exactly. Also,
and
yeah.
that, so yeah, and that being even thrown into, because light is light and dark is dark, and it's just like those are actually parallels that still make a gray. But it's like, at the end of the day, that good thing and that bad thing is it. I hate that those are even words, because it's confused people so much. Um, like, so much.
Yeah, and it influences us like so much, like you said, it influences just so much.
Hmm.
Also because we are programmed with this is good, this is evil. You
Especially
should
culturally, like,
yeah.
people think chickens are evil. Some people think cows are evil. Some people think goats are evil, and it's just
This is
like,
this is
it's
black
crazy.
magic. Oh my God, yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, exploring these whole things and
mm,
sexual orientation and it goes deep. I don't live in only that or only this or only that, black and white.
right.
For me, it's a grayscale. It's a
It's great.
yeah, that's what it is. And
Because that's the space in between. Like, when
exactly.
when you look at, when you keep, like, that's the whole, like, there is simply no division, especially considering that we're all on the same planet. Like, and we all share mind and emotion. We think the mind is ours, and we think the emotions are ours. We are sharing all of that. Like, and there's no mutually exclusive thought. The only difference is one person acted or reacted a certain way based on that thought, or
Hmm.
whatever that it being. So we share it all. We will be put into this planet. We can't even leave. So it's just
Separ
like, like,
Separation is an illusion as well.
yeah,
Yeah. Also that you touched that point is Pharrell Williams says that when it comes to creativity, we are all just downloading ideas. We all just downloading, tapping into this
You
university,
ever
so to
heard
say.
what Mike said about Mike and Prince used to have a little um friendly feud, and he'll say if he hear a song in his head, he wouldn't go to sleep because he knew Prince was gonna get the song. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Also
that
with
that's
Michael
how
Jackson
tapped
and Prince,
in.
yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
that's how tapped in they are. And I'm like, yeah, because they understand the mind. Like you
mhm.
have a brain that receives the mind. The mind is something that we all can connect. It's Wi-Fi.
Exactly. Come on now.
From the great signal of beyond, you know.
All is mine is the first
Yeah.
principle. Oh, yeah, the medic
Hmm.
principles. And I had so much other questions, but I think we could talk for ages over these topics. Um, what let me just ask you
We could do
three
it.
or
We could do
so.
it. We could do parts. See if you want. If you got to do parts, we could do parts.
We could also do parts. True.
Yeah.
True, true, true. Why limit this experience, right?
Right.
Yeah. So since we were talking about energies and um, transmuting energies and experiencing different perspectives, and do you and or even how my musical practice is how I first started, and without knowing it, for me, kind of wave therapy was for me to create music, to create something, and alchemizing my emotions into this art form and creating something that other people can perceive and listen and whatever. Do you also I think of course you're also a music artist and musician and working with these things, but do you have your what is your perspective on this whole transmuting energy topic?
Energy can't be created or destroyed, only transferred. So you
Right.
are. You are like when you choose to not be reactive and you choose to take action in your life, no matter what's thrown at you or that anything that you will experience, you understand how to transmute that energy. And transmute is the mute. The mute is in the silence, is in the process of doing.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, cool, interesting. Because I mean, that's the most powerful thing you could do. You know, you watch artists do it all the time, from different breakups to anything they may be going through in their life. They just go and they work it because it's like, okay, either you're gonna sit with it and feel sorry for yourself, or you're gonna work it, and you should work it. You know, like you should never just feel like you can't be through it or
Hmm.
work through it, because that's what that is. You're working through it because you're
Exactly.
acknowledging what you are experiencing,
Exactly.
and
And
then
some,
you putting yeah you giving the energy somewhere to go. That's another thing. You can sit at
yes,
home and bottle it up and it turns into a good or some back issues or some knee problems, or
I
you
was
could
about to,
actually you
yeah, I
know
was about to say that because when we are just keeping this energy inside, it's not gonna help us. We need to release this, and it's gonna show up and manifest in different things, like you also said, in back pain or whatever. People getting depressed or keeping these thoughts inside. They don't talk. They're having their throat chakra blocked, and
right.
they
But it's
can't.
because they fear the judgment. You gotta think about it. Like if you transmuted energy that you knew you needed to transmute, you also have to deal with the reactive people that feel some type of way about what you may be feeling some type of way about. And the biggest thing that I was just reminded of today before we got on the call is people will hate you and people will love you, and neither one would be any of your business.
Yes.
And
I,
that's that. And it's like, yeah,
yeah.
you really got to remember that part, because I'm like, ain't nobody eating for you, ain't nobody sleeping for you, and then
Mhm.
damn sure ain't nobody dying for you. You're you, and you got to be that. And regardless, like nobody should dictate how you be, like, and for anybody,
And everybody has a different experience with you, right? So not
right,
everybody is having the same experience with me when there are people that call me
right,
an arrogant person, and the other friend of mine recently said, I heard this person called you arrogant, and I said, I don't want nothing to do with this person who calls you arrogant. He has he must been you know, different people have just so much different perspectives on you. There's nothing we
Mm.
can do about it.
Right.
Sometimes we are just too focused on people pleasing and whatever. I'm also a
Well,
recovering people pleaser.
what I learned from Beyonce, because that's my Virgo sister right there.
All right.
Um, what I learned from her is use that shit too. That's part of your transmutation. Like, it ain't about pleasing them. It's about showing them how they look. Like, whether
That
they're
part.
talking shit about you, and it's like just give them a mirror. Be that mirror, because it's all you're doing is reflecting you. Reflect them back to them and keep it moving.
Mm, okay.
Because that's really where you win. And that's why I'm like, okay, yes, that's why even when I look at the in the comments online and somebody get somebody else together, they'll call them out for projecting and they'll get them together because it's like apparently you're saying this about this person, but it's really about you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
just go get your stuff together with you because did nobody even ask for this. So it's just like, yeah,
exactly. Exactly. That's how I also see it. Then ain't nobody gonna start a fight with me. I'm not lowering myself to that vibrational
right,
level.
right,
I think I came too far with this whole awareness
mhm,
that I get easily triggered or whatever. And if they, I know that this is not me. Like you said, it's you have an issue with yourself. It's not nothing about me.
right.
But then again, nobody's perfect, of course. I'm also not perfect. But yeah,
Hmm. Well, that's the part of it. It's like, and then who is the person that's trying to call out your imperfections?
yeah,
What it's like, what are they doing? Because it's like whole time you're condemning something that like we're in creation and we are part of creation. You did not create this reality, nor did you create me, but you have so much condemnation and judgment about your, maybe your music or the way you dress, or then it's just like whole time, like who told them the right way to be? I'm like, oh, you want me to? Because I'm like, what are they even talking about? Like, so you want me to do everything you
hmm
do? I can't be you. Like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
What do you know to judge me? What do you know to criticize the way that I do music? Have you ever done music? So there's so many people that wanted to be my manager and stuff, and they don't even have either the expertise, nor the connections, nor the knowledge about how creating music is even about, and
right.
and they think they have an opinion on it's.
Yeah, that's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying. That's how you show them the crazy right there. What you just said, because you're like, look at what you're doing. Like, because
exactly,
who,
exactly,
what are you doing? Like,
exactly.
yeah, crazy.
All right,
Mm-mm.
yeah. We were talking about practices and also you that you are having your own that you're teaching your
Mm-hmm.
things and your sessions and what because we are also having audiences listening probably that
Mm-hmm.
are creators and not only artists but also entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship and all that. What can you advise or tell them about using their own gifts in entrepreneurship or using their authenticity for
Mm-hmm.
business?
I would first start with what are you interested in? That because that's important. A lot of people will say making money, and then I'm like, okay, well, what don't you mind doing, or what could you do well, or see yourself not get tired of doing? And then
And not being paid for
then
it.
they'll give me an answer, and then I'll be like, well, how often do you do that? And what do you do now for the money that you're interested in, kind of thing, and just really lay it out to let them see themselves, because because we can't live for anyone, it really is about the reflection process and really understanding your capabilities. Like For the person that says that they want to become a professional baseball player, but they realize that they don't have the needs for it. It's like, okay, now we're getting somewhere because, or maybe you can still have a career in professional baseball, but it's just not playing the actual sport. Being like all of that
Maybe
matters,
maybe he's a
and
coach, right?
yeah, coach, um, physical therapist. It's so many things, so many different sports medicine, so many different aspects of what you could possibly do. And entrepreneurship, honestly, is not in. A lot of people think, oh, it's just you got to create a job and you can't work for anybody. That's not actually what it is. It's like even in entrepreneurship, what you find yourself is everybody's your boss because you're answering to your clients. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like even though you're creating the schedule and you're telling yourself what you want to do, you still have to now answer to people. That never goes away. And so
Or
how can you build that relationship between you and people and to get to where you need to go, whether it is more schooling, a certification, job shadowing, or whatever else, it gets you there. And you don't
Mhm.
have to limit yourself to one thing. Like, and that's the thing that I'm letting my students know, even in this ag program. Like, being from Mississippi and being in these communities where you're surrounded by acres and thousands of dollars of land, there's no reason why this land couldn't fund your livelihood and some of your pursuits in life and help you invest in yourself because you are it. You will return to it and get buried in it. So what are we really doing with our resources and earth for real and all that and just really kind of wake them up to that part of it. And I mean, whether that's space and time, because that's also a resource. It's not
Mhm.
just about the physical commodities of crops and plants and natural resources. Everything could be a resource. Your relationship is to someone as a resource. So again, just not spreading yourself thin, but also not putting all your eggs in one basket. That's the
Mhm.
main thing.
All right. That's that's some gems right there.
Yeah.
Some gems right there.
And you just got to work it out from there. Like find like go, if you want to profit off a hobby, you got to be professional about the hobby. Like when I started
Ex-
profiting off of photography, I was always for fun doing my own stuff and still do. But it's like when I started doing it for other people, I created photo packages and plans and I took myself serious. I got that logo. I legitimized the process and I seen myself as what I wanted to do. And I did it.
Mhm.
And I had, graduation photos, I did weddings, I did car wash commercials. Never did I imagine. But it's like when you put yourself in the position, you answer the call. That's it.
Yeah. I think people just need, or not just, but people need to know what they want, more
Yeah.
clarity, right? There's this
Hmm.
practice. I was also doing a video about this, finding your ikigai. Are you familiar with the this Japanese concept, the ikigai? Is this
Oh
concept?
yeah. My bad. It just hit me. You talking about
Yeah.
like it's like purpose and passion kind of
Yes,
thing?
exactly.
Yeah.
Your reason for being, your purpose. Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. I don't know if you call it differently in the US, by the way. I don't know. I'm not.
No,
This
I
is
just
this
hadn't
is
heard
correct.
that word in like a while. It
Yeah,
been
right.
over 3 years, 3 to 5 years since I heard it. I was like, oh yeah, that.
It's going back. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, basically people need clarity to know what they want to do, all these things, right? What they love, what they are good at, and what are they willing to do without getting paid for, and finding out these intersections, and then what is their passion and vocation and profession and all these things, and then it's creating this purpose and
And
this
then
mission, this hope.
they'll ask you after that. They'll ask you when you give their advice. Is that what you did? Yep, that is what I did. Like, cause when I started playing bowls for people, I was in my college. Like, I went to a moving art festival in Atlanta at the time. Came back, bought a singing bowl. Literally was trying to play the thing the whole time, all the way on the road home. Stopped in the botanical forest in Alabama and then I actually got it to play, and it was just a magical moment because I was like, "Whoa, I'm really playing it." and then I was in public, so people were starting to feel that energy, and so
Mm,
when I got back to campus, I would get out, I would leave class, and I'm just like, okay, let me find somewhere to be, and I get my little position in this style, and I just go into the zone, just meditate. Sometimes I'll watch people walk past, and I'll be doing my thing, and whole time I know this is weird as hell. But it is something that I didn't mind doing, and I was interested because my scientific mind wanted to observe the phenomenon. So
mm-hmm,
initially, I was in my own personal experimentation, and
mm-hmm.
so and I wasn't getting paid for it. Like for the first 3 years of me just wanting to do it. I'm just like, I just want to do this for people. I just want to do this. Hey, let me show you this. Hey, cuz, like, come over here. Hey, meditate. Hey, let me show you, bro. Let me see what you can do. Can you do it? And then I would teach them techniques, this and that. Then it got into me my pricing points, and then I'm like, okay, I'm charging this much for this, and then this, and then as my expertise grew, I knew how to upcharge where I needed to add, $1 here or this and that, and mitigate and think about, oh,
Mm.
this I'm in this session I'm providing this, in this session this is ceremony, in this session we talk about that. So then specializing it all, and it literally started from me just wanting to play it and sitting in college, and it's like, hey, people, look how cool this is. And
The
that
fascination of it, right?
yeah,
And
fascination.
and that's the thing. People just need to start, know what they love doing, and then things come for with them with itself, right? It's like
Hmm.
it's the journey again. It's the
Yeah.
journey. Nothing has to be figured out already. You did
Right. You really gotta
know,
trust yourself. You just really gotta
yeah.
trust yourself, because at the time nobody was doing that. Like I was literally amongst the one of the first people that people were experiencing a singing bowl from and meditating. And now once that had, and it takes a person to see someone else does it and this and that. Next thing you know, oh yeah, and this person does this just like I seen you do. And it's like, yeah, but when I was doing it, I was trying to tell you about it. It was just this weird stuff I was doing, but now you see your favorite artist, Janae Aiko, and this and that. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, here we go. But that's what it takes for
Catching
some
up.
people sometimes, unfortunately, because it just starts with trusting yourself. Like everything that we see and discover someone else do, just like me in those moments before they discovered other people doing it, I just was in discovery. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, and what do you think? And how do you feel? Because I don't know. And then it's just like that openness to discovery and adventure leads the way. And next thing you know, everybody that you ever wanted to come in contact with and this and that, because I got so many even celebrity affiliations now. And I'm like, it's kind of crazy how, you know, I thought that it was supposed, like, you think it's supposed to be one way, but then if you trust your path, it's gonna get you there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I believe that. I
It's
really
true.
believe that.
I mean, I'm beyond belief now. I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
it.
yeah. Knowing it because you're seeing and experiencing it, of
Yeah,
course.
and
Of
yeah,
course.
it's just like, okay, wow. And then like even just conversations where I'm having, and they're like, oh, I'm about to send this to so and so. I don't want to call too many names right now because I don't know. I'm still letting things manifest. But I'm like, you sitting talking to someone that just casually like going to send it to someone that you've been listening to all your life, and you're like, you're finna send them what I said, and not even realizing the value of you until you're in realization of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love the way you think. It's it's really refreshing to be in a conversation that is not only about the weather and not only about like it's going, why is the weather like it is, and not
Mhm.
only talking about the weather, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
uh, just going layers deeper. And I think also that we are having, also because you said now we are seeing more and more these artists and people that we know utilizing these spiritual things and showing everybody has dreads now. Every rapper has dreads now and these things,
Man.
right? I remember even Jay-Z for the longest
Yeah.
time was just no hair or short hair, and now even Jay-Z has growing dreads. I think it's truly the time that we're in, it's such a paradigm shift, and it's such and a mass awakening that is happening. I really believe people are so worried, oh, the world is going under, the world is going to end, and this and that. I really believe that that we are that everything is changing, and that have to have this chaos before we can go into the right direction. Even now,
Yeah.
there's things are happening. Like you said, people are more aware and more conscious about things. And so there's a lot of friction right now.
Mhm.
But I think that things are going changing for the better. But it takes a long time, I think. But
Yeah.
still, we are on the good side right now, I think.
Yeah, it's you have to see it as you have to see, because first of all, most people think time is linear, and that's the
Exactly.
bigger
That's the other
issue.
thing.
And it's just like once you realize the circular motions of it all, the circle of life, you'll see that it is truly that circle that they, and we're on the clock, cosmic clock, and we come around and we go around. And just like
It,
how we have been advanced, we return to those advancements and we fall away from those advancements. Now, if I had to look at that clock just like a regular clock, you go all the way around in chronological order only to come back around and not be in chronological order.
Yes,
Eh,
and that is it's
Yeah.
really funny that you were talking about this. Also, the other thing what reminded me of the Ikigai, and now talking about this that time is not linear; it's more like a circle. I was also making a video about exactly this, talking about how it's everything comes back in like a
It's a
full
loop.
circle
That's
moment, but
that's
it's not.
look, that's
It's
the
like a
spirit right
spiral.
there. It's spirit. Spirit is spiraling ritual. That's what it is.
Uh-huh. See?
Yeah.
It's so
So
interesting.
yeah, so
It's
that's why
fascinating.
I now make that's why documentation, that when it's my journaling and all that. The reason those things become so important is because aren't you seeing that you see the same day on the calendar every 12 months? Like that's alignment.
Hmm.
Like it's a whole loop every time, and then
Mm.
it's a non-linear loop because I'm only experiencing each day 12 months apart at a time. And then I'm experiencing Monday through Saturday. Saturday, Sunday through Saturday, 7 times, bro. So that's the non-linear phenomenon right there. Because you got 7 days that you keep experiencing over and over, and you're gonna experience each of those days 52 times on a different wavelength, on top of it being in a different year, but in the same month on the same day. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Same, but different.
yeah.
What I my a work that I used to do, selling clothes and stuff, and I had a guest or a customer who was trying to tell me that he wanted to have a similar thing, like something like this, but in a different way. And the
Mhm.
way that he described it was same, but different. I want these same, but different.
Yeah.
So, and this stuck with me because it applies to so many things. Even what you just said, yeah.
Everything like from gender on down. That's why I'm like, yeah, yeah.
It makes
Like,
sense.
yeah, I like that though, because I even when you said that, I'm that's gonna stick with me, because I'm gonna have to use that somewhere, like same, different, like but different, same, but different, because
Yeah.
it's like a seesaw kind of thing.
Like a seesaw?
Hmm.
What is a
Because when
seesaw?
you on seesaw, still it goes it even though when you're on a seesaw, like it's here, and then this side's here, and then it's here,
Ah,
and then
yeah.
it's gonna return back up to here, and it's here, but it's same,
Yeah.
but it's different.
Exactly.
Because you're
Exactly.
never going to return to the same spot, even though you return to the
Exactly.
same spot.
It has such a deep meaning. It's crazy. Yeah. People are thinking, what are they talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Like,
if
nah,
you know, you know.
they
If you
look.
know, you
I've
know.
had. Yeah, I know that this definitely, if you know, type of moment. Because I've had people come around me and they'll sit around me, and I'll have these conversations with another like-minded individual. And I had one guy, he was like, "Look, y'all sound like y'all talking some good shit, but I don't know what y'all talking about."
I want the same thing that you in smoking, man.
So I yeah,
We don't
I
need
bet.
to get high, right?
Yeah, yeah. See, that's the thing, and that even has been like hijacked because I thought and, like people would say, they're when they do certain, because first of all, anything that's coming growing out of the ground can't be classified as a drug, so we'll start there. Then they'll go on. I'm popping this. I'm doing this. I'm getting high. You're actually getting low because that's not high. Like there's no insightfulness in doing those different hard drugs that are going to damage the body.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you're eating or participating in some type of plant or mushroom activity or something like that, it's just a chemistry of the actual natural world, and I just can't see it as a drug. That's the biggest differentiation between high and low. But everybody gonna say when they do anything, I'm getting high, I'm getting high.
Yeah.
Everything ain't high.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yep. Yeah, true that. They might think or they feel high, but it's not that. That's not what's
Yeah, and
happening.
that has to be addressed in the world today. I'm saying that because it's like, well, why does that matter? But it's so many people popping different types of pills and things, and they have just no clue about biological harmony and chemistry and naturalness. It's just like, what do I need to do? I need to take this. Oh, okay, take this, take this, take this, and they're just popping whatever experiments next. And I'm just like, okay, hold on. What about stepping outside and picking that dandelion and putting it in some hot water and try that? Because I'm like that is something that you've seen grow. Like it's
It's not
it's
cool
it's
enough.
localized, it's living. Other things are participating in it, so you can trust it.
Hmm. Let's talk about mushrooms
Yeah.
more. How do you explain the phenomenon of the sensation, the effect of
Well,
it with the
um,
mushroom?
you talking about the psilocybin mushroom specifically?
Yeah, for example, yeah.
Yeah. So, um, from what I've read, they increase neuroplasticity in the brain. So, that creates no new neural networks
Network.
and connections. So I think the reason that is because if I had to observe this organism in its own personal experience, it mediates life and death. It's on it like funguses grow to take life and transmute it back into life through the death process.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So initially, it helps you break up old patterns and create new patterns within your
Okay.
chemistry. That is literally, and I think I was like, wow, it's just that simple, right? Because anything that you consume is going to change your chemistry. But it's like in this regard, it's helping, um, like get rid of certain pathways that may be holding on to trauma. And
Exactly. Yeah,
and
yeah.
now you
That's
can
holding you back, right?
create a new way of thinking because of neuroplasticity.
Mm.
And from also what I read, that neuroplasticity is the reason it's that it creates a sense of novelty. So I imagine that when a person is experiencing psilocybin, they are in this sense of reality being anew and seeing everything for the first time and honoring that because even without the mushrooms, this is true. Everything that you see is for the first time, even if you've seen it yesterday. You haven't seen it right now today. And
Mm.
I think in those moments of being with the psilocybin, it really forces you to understand that
Yeah,
in new
yeah.
ways that you just didn't respect before. Like from maybe you realize that your cat notices you way more than you think that you realize that it did. Just different things that people have said they've experienced, or like some people I've heard people say they've seen Christmas lights and the lights just kept sparkling and twinkling, and it's like the depth of perception increases, so
Hmm.
you really are able to think on a deeper because you're
Yeah.
seeing deeper. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so too, that you're perceiving more that you wouldn't before or without even that it's deepening the whole experience. I also
And
had this experience myself that
yeah,
saw
I
things.
was gonna say that because a lot of people that he's talked about it, but did he ever do it? And then because of ethnical reasons, I always try to avoid that conversation because I'm like I'm working with kids and things. But yes, and before working with kids, of course, in my plant ceremonies and everything, I've had those experiences of understanding it for myself. But the issue is when speaking about your journey and how you experienced it, you can't give that to anybody. When they go to try would and do whatever they're doing and the experience that they're having, that's their trip.
Yeah,
And so it's hard for me to explain it outside of like neuroplasticity and new brain capabilities and networks and deeper ways to understand it. Because for how you're going to understand those things and what you even think about, I can't be responsible for.
yeah. Everybody has their own trip, their own
Yeah,
perspective and
yeah,
experience. Yeah, that's true. I'm always, I was always really, really cautious and careful with these things, and I was for a long time. I was not trying it, even
yeah.
this plant medicine.
Mhm.
But I've tried it and psilocybin and others as well, and I really have to say that it is really doing something. It's really you perceiving reality on such a different, deeper level. I one time I was at the beach, one time I was in the park, and when I see the trees moving, and when you see like an electromagnetic field around the trees, suddenly you perceive these things, and then it looks like how the trees are moving with the wind, and even by themselves, of course, also, and
Mhm.
it's like they're communicating with each other, and there's like a whole life happening that we don't see usually.
Right.
It's so interesting. And also walking on the street, looking to the stars, and suddenly I see so much more stars and maybe even things moving, but I'm not sure
Mhm.
if that was
Yeah.
because of the mushroom or
No, no,
if
no,
I
no,
just
no.
saw
See,
more,
that's how they psych you out. They'll say, "Oh yeah, you
right?
must have just been tripping," but it's like, come on, like life's a trip in general, so we can kind of get away from that. You did see, like I've learned that the whole "we come in peace" thing is a real. Like when you get to those certain states, like you have to wonder, okay, why are these African tribes talking about all this contact that they done made? Well, because they ain't out here fucking up the earth, and
Mm-hmm.
they be singing and rejoicing about being alive, and they're very peaceful, and that's good energy. And who don't like being around good energy? It's that simple. But who likes being around somebody that's going to shoot them because they don't think they're supposed to be here. It's just like, yeah, so you are seeing some things happen up there. We're not alone. That is
No, yeah.
true.
I
Um
I I also saw things when I was under no influence,
I know.
and this particular time when I took it, I saw so many things happening in the sky, like from all the side, all in all directions, right?
Mhm.
And I was looking, hey man, I would look to my friend, don't you see this? What's going on right now? But everybody has their own trip. Everybody has their own
Yeah.
trip. When I was not under the influence, I under the influence. When I say this, it sounds like so. Anyway, I had also a moment when I really when I needed to be shown that there's something else going on in the sky. That when I saw other people here in Lisbon, when I saw other people suddenly look up to the sky, and then you look up and oh damn, this is like a UAP, UFO. It must be something because it's not. It everybody saw it. We looked up and everybody saw it was like uh, collect not collection but ensemble of lights that were bigger than any plane can ever be, and it was all also not so high in the sky. It was low. It cannot be any planet alignment or
Mm-hmm.
any satellites because it was not that high in the
Mm-hmm.
sky. And so we all saw it. And my friend of mine, he was really scared about it, but I said, man, I heard about a lot of sites happening this time at the year. It was last year, November, December, when was a lot of stuff going on also from the US and from the whole world. And I was already hearing these things, and I was like aware that there's a lot of sites going on, a lot of people seeing things, a lot of drones flying around, a lot of UAPs, whatever, or people are coming now because things are shifting. So anyway, and then I was looking up. Damn, now I also saw it. Now I also
Mm-hmm.
saw it. Yeah, it was so fascinating.
Yeah, and I think that main thing when we talk about the mushroom part is it helps with integration of biological processes. I would
Mm-hmm.
say that. It's because it's like whether we're talking internal or external, just like what you said about the trees, is like you tuning into what and how the trees were, and made you aware of how they communicate, through the wind, and understanding that they are actually breathing, and
Mm-hmm.
I just every all of that becomes you respect it, you see it, you're aware of it, and that's what I mean by the integration part, because it's like you see your place in it, that makes you respect it, and then everything, all the other senses come online, and you just having this um revelation about epiphany.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And now that I know, my awareness changed as well, or has broadened, or whatever you want to call it. I think there's a reason that psilocybin or mushrooms in general are used in spiritual practices and
Yeah.
so many retreats about it. And
Mhm. I
um,
mean, that's what Santa Claus is about. If I had to just, I'll send you some stuff about it, and you'll be, yeah. So like the whole reindeer, like reindeers, seeing flying reindeers, and like the mosquito mascara mushroom, the red and white mushroom that like Mario eats and gets bigger and stuff like that. That
mm,
grows on deer poop, and that's the
okay.
whole thing about the chimney refers to the spine and chakras
Ah,
and making it
yes.
thin, all that, and then like the whole sun and the solstice, it's all there. I mean, it's so much, so many symbols, like the star on top of the pine tree, the pineal gland. It
Mm,
it
and then the
it.
fluids going down
Yep,
your spine and everything,
yep,
like going down the chimney, yeah,
yep.
going down the spine and everything.
Hmm.
There's so much hidden knowledge everywhere, but we are being taught differently or dumbing
It's because
down.
they're dealing with everybody's dealing with it on a surface level, and that keeps them at that cattle, and for lack of better words, type of level, because it's like you're just going to be herded around. But what are you really herding to? Because it's like if you really understand, instead of just running to the store for at Christmas time or at any time that is revered and energetically heightened and pushed up the ladder of importance, you have to wonder, okay, where is this energy going?
Mm,
And that's the bigger conversation, because a lot of the times we are literally giving our energies away to systems that don't have human life in consideration. So
mm-hmm,
then
mm-hmm,
you're feeding the beast that's initially going to kill you, because you don't understand why it's even taking the energy that it's taking. Like there's a need for Christmas in the winter because everything's dead. It's just like, and all of the things that we adorn the tree and the fruits and everything that we stored from the year of growth is what how that even plays into the perspective. But because we got GMOs now, and you can get an onion any time of the year, you can get an apple any time of the year, and nobody sees the cycle for real. They're not
mm-hmm,
understanding the reverence of what this is energetically. Like, and life has retreated from us, and let's give life to one another, and create a warm and homing home environment with the resources that the earth have left us. And just all of that in between. It's so interesting, but again, when you're not interested in it, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, Christmas. Oh
Hmm.
yeah, I need to go buy a gift. And you're like, what is the gift? Why is it called a present?
Yeah.
Why is now called the present? And why is your talents called a gift? Like you see, you just have to see it and try to connect the dots. But because people are like, oh yeah, I never thought, that keeps them away from it. You have to be interested in your own living.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting also that you talk about the differences between the gift and the talents and the gift and yeah and present and everything. Interesting, yeah. Um, what else I wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about before I think it's time to coming to an end of this conversation,
Mhm.
but I don't want to leave you without asking you, what else can you tell us that we haven't, what else can you tell us that we haven't talked about yet on this topic, on this conversation today?
Mm. On what topic? Because
In general, something that is on your mind that you think that is important to also address to not forget on this conversation today. We talked about a lot of things, right?
hmm hmm And I mean, when you said that, this another podcast that popped in my head. I end up doing with the guy from Atlanta. It's called the Number of Our Days, and I remember it's just like we had. It's like I think it was a 3 or 4 part series, and we really just honed in on the fact that all of our days are numbered. And like that gratitude and things and
Hmm.
honoring what
Hmm.
the time you have. um I mean, all things take time. So I think that, that being the true currency of it all, um, you just really can't waste it. I think that's the biggest, like, part of this, where it's like, even if you waste time on yourself, whether you're not allowing yourself to express yourself to the full potential, if you're trying to figure out when is the best time to grow something instead of just starting with a seed
Yeah.
today, you know, yeah, I mean, there is no need to wait because you're already going to have to wait. If everything takes time, there's already a wait. So you don't have to wait on yourself initially. I think that's what I really want to say after all that we've said, because a person would receive this information. And okay, so what am I supposed to do now? And I'm like, start wherever you can. If you got some seeds, go plant a seed. If you got some good healthy food, or try that. If you don't have any healthy food, go try to buy some next time. Um, if you want to pay attention now to what you listen to. Like, what, don't just let the radio play. Understand
Hmm.
what's happening around you, reevaluate where you are. I think that's just what time it is for everybody initially, because there's so much happening in the world politically and socially. It's really a valuation zone where it's like, if you can't, no one can be responsible for anyone anymore. Like, even with the government system, it's hard for anybody to just say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to take care of you for you," and go moving into that Aquarian energy. It's just not that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. All
right.
right. Yeah, all right, cool. So I think this was a really, really insightful conversation. And
Mhm.
yeah, thank you so much for coming. And thank you so much for taking the time to having this deep conversation and talking about things that matter. And I think that there's so much going on in the world that we need to be reminded about things that we need to confront ourselves with us, and
Mhm.
that there's more to life than just going to work, doing running errands, going home, going to sleep, and eventually die. No, there's so much more to that, and that we
Right.
are all a spirit, and that we are all here.
realizing that your
experiencing right now.
spirit's eternal. And before I forget, because I cut you off, I'm sorry.
No, no worries.
It's an eternal experience. Like you're in a physical experience that you can quantify. Like when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, okay, I'm back in this. But the spirit lives on. And if the energy can't be created or destroyed, don't treat your life so temporary. And I think
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
biggest mistake a lot of people are making, where it's like, oh yeah, it's just now, and it won't be it won't be for long. But I'm like, you're this and you are all you have.
and death is an
So
illusion.
yeah,
That will be
right.
also.
And you telling me thank you too, because I mean, how many people can I talk to like this on a regular day? I mean, I'm almost a mute most days because I just have to go about and do what I'm doing. I walk through, don't say much because not many people understand much. So, but this is
Mhm.
this is rewarding for me too, because now I can go, I had a good day and I had a good conversation, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Likewise, man. Likewise. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. I wish you a great day, and hopefully we see you soon on this podcast, and let's see where we are on our journeys by then. All right.
Oh yeah,
Have a
thank you.
nice
You
one.
too. All right.